Welcome back, everybody, to this series, to these videos where we talk about life and self-improvement and mental health, physical health, spiritual health, all these things. There's a beautiful sunrise in the background here as we start this episode of this video. And yeah, in this video we're going to be talking about how anxiety is literally killing you, and how anxiety is really much worse than we thought. And this is kind of a wake-up call. Most of us already know these kind of things, that anxiety is like hurting us and everything. Um, but I really want to go in depth with this and really talk about this because it's something that's very important to think about. And so, with that being said, if you guys enjoy these videos, if this video has helped you, then please consider watching some of my other videos and subscribing and commenting your story or how you're doing today, or just anything. Just share anything. I really want this to be a safe space. I really want this to be like a community of just like-minded people, and just for people to be able to just talk and improve and be together. It's so important to have spaces like that online, and I really want to have that here. And if you want to get even more personal, I have a Discord server in my bio, as well as in the description. So if you're interested in joining that, there's not really many people in there right now, but we are looking to make it bigger and hopefully have that little community going. And so with that being said, I really hope this video has helped you. I really want this to be a community. I really want this to be a thing for all of you to feel safe in and feel comfortable in, and just to be able to get back on track with your life and improving your life and feeling better and feeling like spiritually just content with life and happier, and getting rid of depression, anxiety, bad mental health, all these things, bad physical health. All these things are so important. And man, I've been in really dark places in this life. I've been very anxious, very depressed, and I've been in places where I've seen no future for myself whatsoever. And yet here I am now. I wouldn't trade this for a single thing. I wouldn't trade this life for anything. I love being alive. And yet, like 2, 3, 4 years ago, I would have, maybe not 2, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and the rest of my childhood, which was very trauma filled and very hard, which I haven't shared much of my story on here about that, but I've gone through really, really dark times where I didn't want to live, where I don't want to be alive, where I just wanted it to be all over, and here I am still going. So, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that for the times that I wasn't able to end my life, or something intervened, or it just didn't work out. I always told myself just one more day. One more day. In fact, it wasn't me that told myself. It was something else externally, which I believe personally, in my view, to be God, told me in my head over and over whenever I'd be ready to kill myself, genuinely, to just hold on for one more day. Just wait one more day. Go to sleep, eat a snack, indulge in pleasure, even if you have to. It's not great for you. It's not good. It's not going to help you. But just do it if that's what you need to keep going. Just keep going one more day. And then the next day comes and you just keep going. And eventually it does get better. And eventually, if you just make little changes, it does get better. And you can improve and live and get to a point in life where you actually want to be alive. So going back to the community thing, having a community here, something I really thought about doing, which I think I'll probably do soon here, is make like a little monolith back at the home base and have little journal entries where I'll write a journal entry at the end of every video, and you guys can write in the comments, or just privately in your own little journal or piece of paper at home, and just write down what your response is to that journal entry. I think that is a beautiful way to create like an actionable step for you guys when you watch these videos, and also just create more community and more like togetherness. So with that being said, anxiety is literally killing you. Now, everybody knows this to some degree, that anxiety has physical, mental, and spiritual effects, and it is very, very bad. In fact, bad stress and anxiety is very much hurting you. Now, it goes a little deeper than that, but As we know, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, all these three healths that I call them, all affect each other. So if your physical health is struggling, then your mental health is struggling. And if your spiritual is struggling, your mental is going to struggle, your mental, your physical, and so on and so on. Uh, and anxiety, which is a mental health condition, a mental health thing that's not natural, not something we should be feeling, so, especially so often and so harshly, to where we get panic attacks and anxiety attacks. That's not normal, actually. Um, and anxiety affects us physically and spiritually. So anxiety kills us physically, it kills our bodies. And people with anxiety do not live as long. They really do not live as long. They live shorter lives. And if you're depressed and you just don't want to live, you're probably thinking like, "Oh wow, that's great. Like I don't actually want to live very long. I don't like this life. I want to be out of here. I want to be gone. I want this to be over." And you probably hear that and you think like, "Oh, that's great." But it's not, because this life you deserve. I want you to hear this genuinely from my heart. Something nobody has ever told you before. And that's that I genuinely love you and I want you to experience the pleasure of life. Like the genuine like life that we were made to live by God, the creator of the universe, the way we were meant to live. Did you know that I wake up with like a spiritual peace like most of my days? Did you know when I first gave my life to God and I cried out to him, I felt the most rush, like such a rush of peace that I've never experienced before. Some of us might have had dreams before in our lives where in our dreams we felt so much peace, like just unexplainable peace. You might have experienced that in a dream, but have you ever experienced that level in real life? Because it is very much possible for you to experience that in real life. I don't think we realize, because there's not many people in the world who experience this regularly. In fact, the only ones who ever do experience this regularly are like monks, for example, who aren't going to share it on the internet or aren't going to share it in public, or just it isn't common knowledge. But you can really feel like a strong sense of peace and happiness and contentment in life. You're not like any different from anybody else. Yes, you might be struggling. Yes, there is problems with your brain, your mind, your soul, your body. You're breaking down, you're hurting, you're struggling, you're not well. But you can get better, and you can feel this way. And anxiety is destroying your life span. It is going to make you live not as long. And that sounds good if you're depressed, but it isn't good, because then when you actually are happy in life and you do want to live longer, it's too late. You've made irreversible damage and you're done. You're not going to live as long. So if you're young and you're watching this video, make the change now. It's not easy, but if you just can commit to the good habits in life and make a few changes and just keep moving forward and going on one day at a time, you will improve and get better. And I'm always a resource for you if you need to comment how you're feeling, how you're doing. If that makes you feel better, please consider doing that. So yeah, mental, physical, and spiritual health all affect each other and impact each other. And so you must be mentally healthy, and there's lots of habits and lifestyles and mindsets to help with this. However, the number one thing will be, because you got to realize, like, you can go and improve your physical health, your spiritual health, but then if your mental health is still struggling and you're not improving on your mental health is just going to go and plague the other ones. And so with that in mind, you need to improve your mental health. And the way to improve your mental health, lots of habits. However, the number one thing that I've been talking about in recent videos that is very important, and if you want me to elaborate on this, just go and watch, I think, episode 30 or 31 or 32, or I think it was 30, I think it was 31, as well as like a couple other videos. A lot of videos recently have been mentioning this, but presence. A lot of us are stuck in our head because of anxiety. Anxiety puts us in our head 24/7. But if we weren't in our head, we'd be what we call present, like completely present in life. The skill of presence, the ability to be present in life, will actually be the number one thing that leads you to being happy and content. There is so much contentment that comes in life when you're present. And I know you're probably thinking like, okay, well, how does that make any difference? Like, my life sucks. I just want to numb it. I'm telling you, like, again, like you can watch some of my other videos I talk about this, but being present is like one of the biggest gifts in life because you're just so aware, you're so grateful. You just look at the clouds and the sun and the trees and the dog at the dog park, the, the birds, and you just look at these things and you notice these things when you're present and you're not anxious. And you notice these things and you feel gratitude for them and you feel alive. We don't feel alive because we aren't a part of life. We are spectators in our life because of anxiety. Anxiety puts us in our head, so we are spectators. We aren't living. We aren't living. And so if we just minimize anxiety, work towards minimizing anxiety and intrusive thoughts and being overwhelmed by work and all these things and responsibilities, if we minimize those things, we will be more present in life, and overall we will be happier and more content, and it is such a beautiful thing. With that being said, so anxiety is the root of not being present, and so get rid of anxiety and you'll be a lot more present in life, which is super important. Anxiety is killing you. No medicine, no drug is going to have a permanent fix on your life. Now, you can take antidepressants or anxiety medication or whatever medication it exists out there to help you. You can take that, sure, that's fine, but you have to realize that you're numbing yourself. You're not fixing yourself. You're not actually improving. You're not coming up with it's not a solution. It's like a temporary solution to a permanent problem. So you need a permanent solution to the permanent problem. And so with that, you just need to live a more natural life, a more godly life, a more life oriented around the things of nature, the things that we were meant to be and surround ourselves with and put in our bodies and live with. And for example, if you're getting negative thoughts, you need to reject those negative thoughts and then journal positive thoughts and gratitude and force the gratitude so that it becomes more natural. You need to meditate so that you get more into a meditative state of mind. You need to do acts of kindness to almost make yourself more kind and more fulfilled from that and more at peace from that. And we need to follow God and pray, because prayer, even if you don't believe in God, prayer does have a real effect regardless. And so it's like scientifically it has a real effect even if you don't believe in God. And so all these things are very important to keep in mind. I talk about them in all my videos and I go more in depth if you're curious in all that. So but when you follow God though, you feel like a kid again, and you feel a peace you haven't felt ever so strongly in your life. God saved me, and so of course I can't go this video without mentioning God, because God, I used to be an atheist, but God changed my life, and I would never go back, because man, this life is so beautiful with God, and I don't know what I'd do without God. We are so anxious. The reason why we are so anxious, just to sum it up, because I say this in a lot of my videos, the reason we are so anxious is because we don't have childlike faith. As kids, we had childlike faith in our parents to take care of us, even if we were traumatized and not very well cared for. We still had a lot of trust in our parents. And as adults, we don't have trust in anything greater than us or bigger than us. And so, as adults, we kind of just need God, the one thing we can trust as adults. And so if you build your trust in God and you understand who God is and you encounter Him personally by crying out to Him and wanting Him, then you'll have a relationship with Him and you'll realize nothing matters. Everything's going to be okay because you have God. So everything is going to be okay. So then you'll have less anxiety, so you'll be more present, which makes you happier in life, which also makes you live longer, because anxiety is killing you and destroying you spiritually, mentally, physically. And if it's destroying you physically, you're not going to live as long. And if it's destroying you spiritually, then it's destroying your soul and making your soul dark and hurting. So anyways, with that being said, this video is running out of time. I love you all so very much. Please let me know what your thoughts are on your story in the comments, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.